And welcome back to Sports Weekly on IEMG. I'm your host, Pep Fernandez. A little more baseball, a little softball, a little track and field in this segment. We're going to start on the baseball diamond, where Indian Springs made the Division 8 playoffs, and it was really a bounce-back season for the Coyotes. In fact, there are 16 wins this season, at least to the records I saw, the most they've ever had in school history in a single season. So truly a bounce-back year for Indian Springs. But Division 8's tough. There's some good teams in D8. They were taking on a Magnolia, the Sentinels from Anaheim in this one. Jesse Holguin, the skipper for the Coyotes, his team down 6-4. They had a runner on, but a big strikeout there by the Sentinels in this one. And then Magnolia is going to tack on another run. They were up by 2 at this point in the 6th inning. Alex Zuniga, the RBI to left center field, and that's going to put Magnolia up by a score of 7-4. So Indian Springs trying to limit the damage, keeping a 3-run game. Alonzo Zaragoza, great catch out there in shallow right field for the Coyotes, inning over. But now we go to the bottom of the 7th. Indian Springs trying to get those 3 runs back and push this one to extras. Jacob Aguilar flies out to right field, and then Chris Cabrera sends this one to left field, and it's almost going to fall in for a base hit. Instead of having 2 runners on, Indian Springs now with 2 outs. This is the final out, as Magnolia is going to escape with a 7-4 victory, ending the Indian Springs baseball season. But like I said, huge year for the Coyotes. Runners up in the Mountain Valley League, 16 wins. I know it's bittersweet in the moment, but it really was a successful season for Indian Springs and head coach Jesse Holguin.
I mean, overall, tip our caps to Magnolia. They came out and they wanted it. They were a little more hungry than we were today. As far as our season goes, obviously it's always disappointing to not win the last game. But the boys did, battle their butts off all season long. They progressed. They got a lot better. And as far as the culture changed, we wanted to make a difference and kind of put a name out there in the Inland Empire as a team to look out for in the future. Like I said, it's all the hard work the boys put in all season long. Fortunately, it didn't show today, but at the end of the day, there's a lot to look forward to. The kids did exactly what they were supposed to all year long. They bought in early in the season, and it showed throughout the entire season. Unfortunately, like I said, it's a bum deal. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose, right? And unfortunately, today we're on the short end of the stick.
All right, great year, Coyotes. All right, from baseball now to softball. We've got 2 local softball teams still in the playoff hunt. San Bernardino High School won their first-round game. Their second-round game was supposed to be on Saturday, but it got pushed to this week. But on Saturday, we did have in Division 8, Arroyo Valley at home taking on Hawthorne Math and Science Academy. That is Alicia Arevalo, the walk-off base hit. That is the mercy rule. Arroyo Valley wins this one 13-3. So the Hawks punch their ticket to the Division 8 quarterfinals. They will play the winner of Banning and Fontana in the quarters. Congratulations to Arroyo Valley getting hot at the right time in the playoffs for softball. Now let's go to some track and field. Let's take you out to Moore Park High School. The CIF Southern Section Championships for all divisions, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll start in Division 1. We had a couple of local relay teams in the finals. In Division 1, the Cajon Cowboys made it to the championship race in the 4x100, and the Cowboys come in 7th place with a time of 42.2 seconds. Great job by the Cowboys to make that championship race in a very tough Division 1. In Division 4, we had the Aquinas Falcons also in the 4x100. The Falcons check in with a time of 43.36, good enough for 5th place in Division 4. Congratulations to the Falcons and the Cowboys, man. Making the relays in the championship race is a big deal. A lot of fast teams out there in the southern section. We also want to give a shout out to Isaac Maldonado from Aquinas, got 5th place in the 1600 meters in Division 4, as did, Jamar Ginn. He took 4th place, actually, in the high jump in Division 4 for the Aquinas Falcons. So Aquinas had a big year in track and field. Congratulations to them. All right, we're going to go from track and field now to some golf. You don't see a lot of high schools with their own golf facility on campus, but that's exactly what's happening over at Aquinas High School. Check this out. This is Sterling Hills. Yes, Sterling Hills. The Falcons they're one of the only golf facilities, I think, at a high school level, at least, on campus. There it is, Sterling Hills out there. They've got, you can chip. They got some greens. It's a whole facility that you can actually train on campus if you're on the golf team. So they're trying to really bolster the golf program. There's the putting greens there, so you can do everything. We saw a good shot of it from overhead. And here is Dr. Chris Barrows talking more about the golf training facility on campus now. And you'll get another look from overhead at what it looks like. It's pretty nice.
But we want to try and give our kids an advantage to where they have a place they can play year-round. Even if they don't drive, they can bring their clubs to school and come over here and hit balls. We all know how important play around the greens are, where you can make up a lot of strokes. And so, we're so excited to be able to have something like this on campus, where we were, one of the first schools to have a beach volleyball stadium on campus. I'm pretty sure we're one of the first schools in the area to have a golf facility on campus.
All right, pretty cool at Aquinas High School. Again, you don't see many or, if any, high schools with a golf facility actually on their campus. So pretty cool to chip, putt, practice for the golf program. All right, when we come back here on Sports Weekly on IEMG, Cal State San Bernardino baseball in a championship regional game against Point Loma, and it was a wild finish. Plus, we're going to check in with Aaron Brooks, the former Cal State and Cajon High School baseball star, back in the big leagues, and the new Cal State San Bernardino women's basketball coach here on Sports Weekly on IEMG right after this.